tried to give the people some other music tonight. So, but it was music to my ears, Donnie, because my showdown lineup totally came out of nowhere in that second half because of Julio Jones. Tom Brady kept looking bad, but he got Julio there at late third quarter, and boy, did that guy explode for me to go from winning nothing to winning a lot of something because I also had a Julio Jones anytime touchdown. How did you guys do? Did you enjoy the playoffs? What were some of your takeaways?
A lot of good games this weekend. Obviously, Monday came out with kind of a slacker game, but
sort of expected to be that one, a slacker game.
Yeah.
That's the thing too, is has our expectations got too high? Like we have one bad game out of all these magical, like not even games, but moments. Like the Jacksonville Jaguars comeback would have been enough, right? But then the way the Chargers built up the lead, even like the way they did it with the interceptions, like it wasn't just the Chargers scored a bunch of points. It was the way they did it with the tip. Like there was just so much excitement in that game. And then like Irv Smith has been out most of the year. Busting his ass to come back, trying to come back for his team. And then he catches a touchdown late in the Vikings game. Like there was just so much good Cinderella, good synergy out there. Like good, T.J. Hawkinson finally seems like he's found a home, but the Lions are still doing good. There's just a lot of good energy going on, and then we get one bad game, and people want to make all these jokes on Twitter and stuff. It's like, man, the NFL's in a good place.
The Giants too. They are, they're the underdog.
Right.
They are our underdog of the year. I guess you could say Jaguars, but I think everyone expects the Jags to lose next week. The Giants, I don't think it's that simple. You got the Dolphins games keep staying close. You had the Bengals game close, and the Seahawks game was very good. It might not have looked close at the end, but it was a very good game.
Mm-hmm.
We had one bad game this weekend out of 7. It wasn't 6, 7. I don't know.
And Gav, I'll shoot it over to you next, but I think even the Tampa Dallas game was still entertaining, even though it was a bad product, score for score, because we saw the Cowboys win, not convincingly. Like that's a storyline in itself. That you know how it is with the marketing of the Cowboys. Like they're always gonna drum up attention, being the Cowboys. That's why they were on the primetime, showdown kind of, primetime performance. I don't know how else to say it. Like the marquee, I guess it would be the word.
And Dak Prescott and Dalton Schultz, I'd argue best games of their career. Dak with 5 touchdowns. Dalton Schultz had 2, almost 100 yards.
Well, that's what I was going to say, Donnie. It was still a really good one-sided performance from your most liked team, right? But then also, ultimately, we might have seen Tom Brady's last game. So whether it was a bad game statistically or not, it's still going to be a historic game no matter what happens. So I don't even think in the perils of television, it was a bad game because we might have truly saw his last game. And it might have been his worst game, but it's still a storyline. What did you think, Gov?
From the weekend itself, I was actually surprised at how, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't think any of these teams did anything special this weekend.
My playoff bracket has not been messed up at all. I'll say that.
I'll say that, yeah. What we kind of expected to happen happened. And I saw that on every level. It wasn't just, the teams we thought were going to win came out with the win. Even the way the teams played was weirdly predictable.
Except Trevor Lawrence. I'll say that.
He had a monster game in the second half. I actually think the totality of the game was what I expected from Trevor Lawrence.
The 4 interceptions,
Did I expect to get both extremes in one game? No. But, like, I totally expected Trevor Lawrence to be probably, like, 50-50 touchdowns, interceptions. How efficient does he run the offense and able to keep up with Herbert? Like, that was sort of how I thought that game would go. And then who I thought he would throw it to. He's going to focus his tight end. He's going to try to run the ball with ETN because that's what they're going to try to do. And if Zay or Kirk can make some plays, then they can do something. Like, just that one game right there. That's sort of what I expected from Jacksonville. I got exactly what I expected from Herbert, and we still were able to get both extremes in that one game. I think every game sort of went that way. Like, it wouldn't reflect it in our DFS lineups, but I wasn't here to help build lineups, so I don't know exactly what our thought process was. But I do think a lot of the plays that I can't even say that I liked. They were just the play for that team.
Why don't you pull up our lineup for Gov?
Yeah, I'm filtering through like my best to worst because I just think like when you go to your worst lineup, that's where you learn the most. So I figure that's where we'll spend the most time. So you'll have to help me figure out which one that is, but I do believe it is. It's like 155, I think. I want to say that's what it was. So let me see. It has to be this one, 153. I believe that's what it has to be. It.
Nope. It was the Daniel Jones lineup.
Oh, that's easy to find if I only use the lineup builder, right? I think I can hit over here. There it is. Here it is.
Okay.
This is good because you actually didn't build this lineup, Griff. So I want you to tear us down because you don't know who picked who. So, like, where do we make mistakes? Where do we get right? Give us your, like, because we won't be able to do this very often because you're not going to miss many shows. You're a warrior just like the rest of us.
The eggs are so expensive, she has to start flipping on a pole.
And this was for the 6 gamer, or
this was every game, yeah.
Yeah, this is the 6th game. Which I thought, by the way, as you break it down, which I thought was kind of crazy how people like didn't think the contests were good enough. I thought DraftKings did a fabulous job of making every slate intriguing in some ways. Like we've seen worse DFS slates where it's like they favored really strongly one side or the other. I thought DraftKings did a really good job of featuring good contests throughout the weekend. I gotta give them credit there.
I like. Didn't have a bring back for Daniel Jones.
No, we did. Bellinger.
No, that's a stack. I'm thinking about. You don't have a Minnesota guy on.
Oh, we don't have a bring back. Sorry.
We almost played Hawkinson, but we got off that at the last second. I'll say that.
Yeah, we were debating, I believe, between Kirk and Hawkinson, right?
Well,
I probably would have had us go. I was about to say I probably would have had us go Hawkinson just because I wouldn't have wanted to full game stack that Chargers Jags game without stacking it with the quarterback, with one of the 2 quarterbacks. My thought. I do like the fact, like, you jammed in 2 sort of like game stacks where you have the running back and the wide receiver for a team. Because you have Fournette and Godwin, but then you also have Eckler and Keenan Allen. So it's like, I feel like we could have correlated something better.
So let's add some more intrigue to this, Gov. Could you guess, based on building lineups with us all season long, who made the pivotal position decisions in the lineup? Like, how do you think, who came up with Daniel Bellinger or Christian Kirk?
You came up with Bellinger.
I did.
Donnie's the one who picked Keenan Allen.
No.
That
No,
was the
really.
one that we agreed on. That was like our best ingredients. Like we thought Keenan was going to smash.
I would.
I thought he was at least going to hit value.
I honestly would have thought that too.
Yeah, that was, I think, the one that we were most consistent. Most consistent.
Which one of you really wanted to play the Tampa Bay guys?
That was Donnie.
I didn't love Fournette. I'll say that.
But you did love Godwin.
I said I have to get Godwin in the lineup.
Yeah.
I said to Logan, I expect him to get at least 10 targets that game.
And you also wanted Daniel Jones because
I also really wanted Daniel Jones.
That doesn't surprise me. I would have the only other quarterback I would have pushed you guys on would have been Brock.
I wanted Dak. I didn't even tell Donnie because I didn't want it because we were debating like how we were going to break it up, and I was like, you know what? Here's what we'll do. I'll let Donnie pick whatever quarterback he wants, but I get to pick the correlation, and that was what we agreed on, and that's why we ended up on Daniel Bellinger.
I figured if Daniel Jones was our quarterback, you would have wanted to play Bellinger. That makes sense to me.
I wanted to play, and then I got to give Donnie full credit on this one. I would not have played Deebo Samuel. I think I might have played him because Donnie was so high on him. I mean, Donnie, I believe, even after the show, was talking about how Deebo Samuel. I believe we were talking like a couple hours afterwards, and you were just raving. And I'm like, you know what? I better put him in a few lineups if Donnie was this high on him, because I was completely off him. I thought he was kind of a bad play. But Donnie came in with so much energy about the Samuel play. Chris Godwin didn't hurt us, though, but I wouldn't have played him either. The one where I thought we got unlucky was Leonard Fournette. I still think Leonard was a good player.
He got no attempts. I mean, he really got no action.
Yeah, I wouldn't have played the Buccaneers defense, but I just always play the cheapest defense. Like, I guess I would have played them if they were the cheapest. But everything else, like, we pretty much agreed on.
Yeah.
I can think right now there are 3 picks I would have wanted to change.
Okay, go ahead.
First off, I wouldn't have played that full Tampa Bay stack. So I probably would have agreed with Godwin and said we're not playing Lenny and we're not playing the Tampa Bay defense. The other pick that I'm not huge on was Christian Kirk.
I actually forget how that came up.
He got there late, too.
Yeah, it was a late.
Yeah, he did.
Choice.
Yeah.
It was Julio Jones light, because I believe him and Julio only had like one catch going into their respective games.
And he snagged that one TD that really, I mean, it was a great catch. It was a great play by him, but it very well could have been dropped.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, wasn't that like the majority of his yards? Wasn't that like 60 yards?
No, it wasn't that deep. It was like 20.
Was it?
But still, it's, that's a huge difference in points.
Yeah, huge.
I think I was higher on Kirk than Logan, but it really wasn't looking good for a while.
Yeah.
He was snowflaking for most of that game.
But see, I thought like we had some good agreement. Like we both agreed that Eckler was a good play, and I think Eckler got lucky.
What we had Eckler. We had McCaffrey in it first, but then we moved to Deebo and then put Eckler in because he was a cheaper running back, but also could give you similar play styles.
And had we not had Deebo at the low ownership, we wouldn't even had a chance. I personally think, like, looking back at building, the worst mistake we made was defense.
Yeah. No, I leaned too much in. The Cowboys have been turning the ball over, and I didn't expect them to come out that well. I mean,
how well did they come out missing all those goddamn kicks? Like, that was hilarious.
Oh, yeah, it was. Let's not forget, Daniel Jones had a rushing touchdown called back, and they had to kick a field goal on one of those drives.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a huge game changer there, points-wise.
Oh, it is. And And I should mention really quickly, we are streaming on Spotify Live, and the reason we're doing that is if any of you guys want to comment, with your voices and be heard, that's an easy way for us to transition. You can raise your hand over there, and you can go on and ask your questions. So, like, we take comments in the YouTubes, but if you guys want to actually get your voice heard, this is a great way. You can find us over on Spotify. I'll drop the information in the description after the show, so you guys can easily find it. But yeah, it's just a platform where we can go live and then you guys ask questions. Go ahead, Donnie.
How much targets did Keenan Allen get? Because I feel like he got a decent amount.
I seen a review show, and I'll pull it up to be sure, but I think it was 13. But he only
so the same amount as Godwin.
Yeah.
So
13.
Yeah. So just looking at that, the value is here with Keenan.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have changed any of the Charger plays. It was the Tampa plays I wouldn't have been all in on that. Playing Eckler and Allen, I wouldn't have had switching off of McCaffrey, playing Eckler and Allen. I wouldn't have had a problem with that.
See, but that's
that I definitely would have made into a James Cook or a cheap running back, so that Kirk could have been another stud, whether that was Diggs, Jefferson, Chase, something, CD.
Well, if we did that, the other guy would have been Hawkinson. I will say that.
Well, yeah, I could see how, we would have been playing Hawkinson, but then we still would have had money. So now we're playing the Bills defense or something more expensive.
Right.
So, I do think we would have had some changes.
So this is the best lineup, and what I'll do here is I mentioned how I would have played the cheap defense, and most of my lineup I played the Dolphins. That was a good play for me. There's no way in hell I played Gabe Davis.
I'm more likely to play him than you guys, I think, but I'm more of a Diggs guy.
I'm playing him this week, but I would not have played him last week. They just didn't raise his price enough.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna play him.
I think you have to play a Bills receiver at least next week because of how bad that secondary is for Cincinnati.
I really like Barkley. I played Barkley in a lot. I did not play Travis Etienne last week, but I will play him this week. Just because I think the Jags game is going to go back and forth, and I think both running backs, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is coming off the IR at $4,000. Sneak peek to a lineup build.
Has the spreads and stuff been released yet or no?
I don't know. I'm assuming yes. No. I bet them. I don't know why I'm talking. Donnie, you're supposed to be the one with 3 hours sleep. Why can't I remember this? I already placed my bets. Yeah, they're definitely in.
I don't want to deep dive into this too much because obviously that's Friday's show. I just was curious.
Okay, so Gub, have you looked at the lines?
I have not.
Because you haven't looked at the lines.
All right. Well, let's do this then. Logan, how about you pull up the lines on a separate thing, and we'll try and guess what we expect.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to see. I know a lot of shows do this. So I was just going to pull them up. I'll pull them up on DraftKings, to be fair, just to tell people, because, the sites are slightly different. But I think DraftKings is probably the most commercial sportsbook.
That's what we use on most of our stuff, so I feel like it's fair to just keep it that way for now. I do need to do we want to review our picks from this weekend?
Yeah, that'd be perfect. That'll allow me a little bit of time to load this up to make sure.
1-0. I know that much.
I don't remember who Logan took, so I have to give it a second. But I know I also am 1-0 because I took the Giants.
I know I took the Giants a lot personally, but I think because you took the Giants, Donnie, I chose a different game.
No, you picked ahead of me, and you forgot to take the Giants.
I forgot to take the Giants, but I did take them all personally. I have the lines, by the way, but I'll let you go ahead unless you don't have it pulled up yet.
I don't have it pulled up yet, so we can.
Okay, let me go ahead. So Jacksonville, Kansas City. What do you guys think the spread's at?
I would assume Jacksonville is +6.
I don't think it's quite that. I'd go 5.
You both
4.5.
are wrong.
Actually, 4.5.
So you guys are both wrong. So let's extend this a bit more because I think it'll be more fun. Because a lot of people do like spread picks, but they don't elaborate why. So why did you guys choose what you chose? Because you're way off.
I think that the games didn't look great overall for the Jags. Yes, they came back, but I'd expect, Kansas City is the 1 seed, is going to be favored at home. And the Jaguars didn't come out looking great to start out. I think that's what most people will expect to happen this upcoming week.
I totally forgot they played earlier this year. So there's going to be a bias based off of that.
Oh.
Fair enough.
Kansas City blew them out. Or at least I think it was a 10-point difference. So, it is probably higher. It's what, 8.5, 9?
It's 8.5. You got on your second go-around.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm thinking those teams are a little closer than normal. But Vegas and the bias are going to give Kansas City over the touchdown since they already covered that once this year.
I took the Jacksonville spread. I think they're going to easily cover 8.5.
Yeah, I think they can too. I think these teams are a little more even than Vegas and the public is going to think.
I will say I think both defenses are better than people think they are, and so I think the over is way too high. I'll stay away from it because these teams do tend to throw the ball, and when you throw the ball, like we just mentioned, Christian Kirk coming down with big plays, and they have Tony and like a lot of speedsters, and they could have Hardman back, another speedster they have had missed most of the year due to a hamstring, even though it wasn't looking good. But they had the total at 53. That's just. I think that's too high. I like both defenses. I think Kansas City's sneaky good for getting interior pressure.
See, that's the thing. If Jacksonville starts out like they did against the Chargers, they will not come back against Kansas City.
They won't, but I don't think they start out that bad.
Me neither. I think they play it a little tighter.
Which is why I actually think Trevor Lawrence is a sneaky good play. Another foreshadowing for a lineup builder in a couple days. So let's transition now to the Giants and the Eagles. It's a plus number for one of these teams. Do you want to guess which one and then by how?
Well, I think we all know it's going to be plus for the Giants.
Yep.
Do you want to take this first or Gov?
Sorry, I just got a text from my brother.
All right.
Say that one more time.
So we're going Giants-Eagles. What do you got that at?
Let's see. Giants-Eagles. This is a tough one. I have not been a fan of the Giants all year.
Really?
I legit, but I'm literally going off numbers. This is where I have to, this year specifically, and I don't want to call them out, but I'm going to call them out. Pro Football Focus is off their shit this year because I've been listening to them, and they have the Giants guys lowest graded of all. They have the Giants worst rated team in the NFL. They have everything about the Giants is this team is god awful and should compete for the number 1 overall pick.
Meanwhile,
and yet they're in the playoffs, winning a playoff game against Minnesota. Nothing, I can find nothing metric wise that says the Giants should be doing what they're doing. So they completely baffle me. And I have no idea. Because my initial instinct is this is another 9-10 point spread.
I would give this would be one of those where if it's, I'll take -9 or more from the Eagles. I legit will. I do not believe in the Giants. I think that they're due to come out and do what the fuck Brady just did. I think that the Giants will come out flat as well. I think it's going to be more at a +7.5 just because it's a divisional game.
Ding. Donnie hit on the number. Exactly. 7.5.
I'd take it up to 9. Like I really, and it's not even a trust of the Eagles. It's a I do not believe at all in the New York Giants. Not at all. None.
Do you think the Hurts injury plays into that spread at all?
No, it probably should. But what should play into that spread is the Giants are absolutely god fucking awful.
Oh,
like I have seen their blocking schemes be bad. I don't trust any of their receivers at all to do anything.
Yeah, no, and that's a great Eagles secondary.
Barkley's due for a fucking injury. Like everything about that team seems wrong to me.
Hold on, there's one
and
thing.
that last one's just me probably being crazy, but like no, nothing seems right about the Giants. Nothing seems right about the Giants.
No, there's one thing I gotta stop because I agree with almost everything you just said, Gov, but there's one thing. They have the best defensive tackle in the league. They have
their defensive line has been solid. That's about the only good thing I can say.
They are run stuffers, man. The amount of the interior pressure they generate is pretty impressive. Now their ends, I mean, you never know what you're gonna get from Thibodeau. He's a bastard case.
Yeah, but I mean, for a rookie, that's fine. He's doing what he needs to do.
I don't even mean maturity-wise.
He's showing the flashes. That defensive line has very, very good chance of being very good next year.
Yeah. I don't mean that maturity-wise. I should preface that because I know that's why he slipped down some draft boards. I just mean like Donnie was saying, it's a rookie year. Like you get the highs and lows. Very extreme with him. If I told you that the over-under was 38, would you say that was too low, too high? What would you say that was?
I think that's a little too low. I'm expecting more of a 45. I think there's going to be a lot of touchdowns scored.
Gov, 38 too high, too low?
It's a little low, honestly. And that's with me not like
you both are right. The over-under is 48. I was tempting you to see if we could get your real perception on that game. See, I think 48 is too high, though.
I'd agree. I would have guessed like 43, 44. Yeah.
I would have been right with Donnie, and that's why I did it so I could participate with you guys a bit. 38 would have been too low, but 48 is too high, I think. Now we'll go over to the game that I think everyone wants to be really good, which kind of could be scary bad, like just not as explosive as people think, which is the Cincinnati Bengals at Bills, obviously with the emotional impact, given that what we saw on Monday night a couple of weeks ago with Hamlin. Who knows if he'll get pressured to go there. By the way, terrible. Some fan bases in NFL circles are pressuring that guy to go to NFL games. Like, I just want him to be all right. Who cares if he ever plays football again? Like, if he does, that's good too. But, like, let's not pressure him to get out of the house and kind of be that mascot. Trust me, as a disabled person who tried really hard to participate in sports from a coaching perspective, I got confused for the water boy a lot of times, or like the wheelchair mascot character a lot of times in just high school sports. It doesn't feel good. So, like, if he wants to go and support the team, all for that. But, like, let's not,
Let's not force. Let's not give him grief because he's not.
Because trust me, like I say, I was that water boy kind of like, oh, this is the good old, homeboy, disabled story. And I'm like, no, I'm actually trying to be a coach here. Like, I actually have the game plan and I've scouted your team. And, like, it was just disheartening for the whole team to always have to answer those questions. So I can only imagine on a professional level the amount of pressure that, he would be under and his teammates. I just don't like it. But
especially going against Cincinnati, maybe he just really mentally can't do it.
Or maybe there's there's an equipment manager that's going to have trouble with that game too. Like, that game's just going to have a ton of emotions, Donnie, to your point. And it's like, we shouldn't put extra pressure on it to be like, oh, Hanlon needs to come. Like, if he wants to, then
I don't think he should be told he can't come.
Right. No, because on the flip side, Donnie, he might need to come. Like, just how it might be traumatic for him to be there, it might be the most healing thing for him to,
it might be very healing for someone like Higgins.
Yeah.
So,
or the adverse, and that's okay. And it's okay for us as DFS players to be like, I want to play Higgins because of this reason, or I don't want to play him because of this reason. And like, I think those factors can play in. I just want to mention that quickly. Do you guys want to comment on that at all?
Not real. I think we can go to what we expect the spread to be.
Okay, so what do you guys think the spread will be?
Because Buffalo's home, I'd expect it to be -1.5. I don't know how I feel about that.
Way off. Go
really?
Let's see. I'm gonna go.
I don't even mind giving a little sneak peek and saying
No, don't. Just I'm trying to do the math in my head because I remember what they were a few weeks ago. And I'm trying to adjust. Yeah, I remember what the spread of that game was that Monday night.
I don't think you'll get it. I want this on the record. I'll challenge you. I don't think you'll get it.
That makes me want to say that Cincinnati's favored, aren't they?
They had the lead.
I know. That makes me want to think, like, is this a pick 'em in Cincinnati? Is this a -2.5 Cincinnati?
No. It's +5 Cincinnati.
Wow, and that's where I think it should be.
-5.
That's where I think it should
I could see that. I could see that. Like, you're going to give Buffalo the home field, and you're going to give them a little over 3.
If I told
but you're not giving them the full touchdown. Yeah, that makes sense. It's pretty close. Yeah.
And those corners looked really bad.
Yeah, they did. But Josh Allen has looked. He doesn't.
Rusty. Rusty's the word I would use.
I can't. You can't even say rusty because he plays so much.
But
I
don't care how you got the rust. You might have gotten the rust by sitting. You might have gotten the rust by just doing bad thing. But for some reason, he's rusty.
Okay, I have a hunch that I think he's taken a lot of hits this year, and his body's starting to just feel the aches.
I'm really worried he's going to turn into Brett Favre, where it's like he had this reputation as a gunslinger, and he didn't lose it, but like eventually, even with a hit, like I think he's going to be an Ironman, he'll play, but I do think he'll have to adjust his style of play. I do not think like
this is not sustainable for much longer.
It's going to be sustainable, but I do think he'll be a good quarterback. I just don't think he'll be an elite quarterback.
I mean, I don't love. I like watching Josh Allen play, but just knowing the toll it's taking, like long term for his career wise, we're gonna miss out on so much Josh Allen most likely because of how he plays.
If I told you the total was 50, would you say that was too high or too low?
I'd say that's about right. I would say about 52, 53 maybe.
Gov, would 50 too high, too low?
No. Like, both these teams are going to have offense. So, like, I could definitely see it being 50s.
I bet the over on this one, it's at 49.
Really?
I wouldn't have been surprised if you said 52 and you said you were betting the over.
Right? I mean, this game very well could be 35-31.
If it was 51.5, that was my cutoff. Like 51.5, I don't even know why I chose half. I think I wanted to be a cool better.
That wouldn't have been a bad number to have as a cutoff. I'll say that.
Yeah, I didn't even do the math to know if it would be a smart EV kind of bet. It was just like, I want to seem smart, like I'm a smart Vegas, professional. If it's 51.5, I'm not playing it. And it was 49, so I'm like, no, you told yourself. You were laying in bed talking to Donnie a couple minutes ago, and you told yourself it was under 51.5, you had to bet it. I just think, like, maybe it's lower because of what we just talked about with the emotions of the game. People just think, like, it's going to affect more of the superstar players, or maybe a Higgins or a Chase or a Burrow. But I just think this game should be higher. And then we can comment on any of these games coming up, but let's just get to the Cowboys and 49ers since we're already here, so I can close out the app. Where do you guys think the spread is for this game? Cowboys, 49ers.
Cowboys, Niners. I think it's going to be
Niners
lot.
by more than a touchdown.
I was thinking it's going to be high in the Niners' favor. I wouldn't say quite a touchdown. I'm saying
I think it's
minus 6.5.
I'll go
for the
minus 8.5.
Wait a minute. What do you guys think it is?
Minus
think-
6.5.
Niners favored. He's got it just under a touchdown. I have it over a touchdown.
No, it's Cowboys plus 3.5.
Oh, that's too low.
They have that really fucking close. That's insane.
They have to play
Dallas
on
has
Saturday.
Dallas has shown me nothing that says that they can play that well.
Okay,
We saw it
Didn't
last
they get beat?
year.
I was about to say, wasn't this the game last year? Dallas lost to San Fran.
yeah. Well, they also have the spread lower than any game in this weekend. Do you know what the
What?
spread is?
I
Or not the spread, the total. The total.
I'm gonna say
It's lower than any game this weekend, and I already
I'm
read
gonna
the
say
over.
40.5.
I was going to say 41.
It's 46.
I think it's gonna be a well-scoring game.
This is the one Vegas has wrong. I'm going to say it right now.
I agree. I think Vegas really messed up here.
Yeah, in fact,
Like, unless they, like, I'm trying to think, could they put those numbers there knowing they're going to get a shit ton of money on Dallas because it's fucking Dallas? And that's just going to move the line anyway to what they probably wanted at. But I don't think so.
maybe, but I'm gonna parlay. I'm gonna do this live just for fun. I'm gonna parlay both overs for the Bengals and the Cowboys. I have it single bet, but I'm gonna parlay it. I get plus 264 if I parlay the two of them. I just think that's smart before it goes up. By the way, if you guys want to know, Wednesday is usually the cutoff for NFL bets. Anything after Wednesday, the lines adjust quite dramatically and they become a lot less advantageous. So
If you're trying to get those bets, I would definitely go early in the week on them.
early in the week in general, but Wednesday especially is like a good day because then you get some injury reports as well. Golf, actually, you can pretty much wait up until the start of the tournament. That might be because golf starts at 6 in the morning for a lot of these contests, but golf doesn't usually switch too much. For football, you see a lot of line movement. Do you guys have any other comments you want to mention? Any other fun nuggets? Maybe headlines, anything? You don't have to either.
I do want to. How do we feel about Brady? Like,
He needs to be done, but he won't be.
so you also think he goes somewhere else? Do you think he stays with the Bucs? I think he leaves the Bucs.
He's
No,
definitely leaving the Bucs.
100% leaves the Bucs. And I know a lot of
Leftwich got fired. I heard. I don't know if that's true. I'm gonna look that up.
Oh, by the way,
Whether or not Brady stays, Leftwich needs to get fired.
I do have breaking news. Apparently, Ben Johnson has decided to come back to the Lions to be his OC. He believes in the Lions that strongly that he wants to stay with them as the OC over. It looked like he was going to get offered the Texans job and chose the Lions OC over becoming the Texans head coach. Obviously, the Texans quickly reverted their attention and basically said that wasn't true. But apparently he had chose the Lions OC job over the Texans job.
So Brian Leftwich, the latest news is there is no decision on Brian Leftwich. He's here with the Bucs.
Hilarious.
Would a guy like Sean Payton change Tom Brady's mind?
That is my one key. Wherever Sean Payton goes has a good shot of getting Brady if they don't already have a quarterback.
Okay, so who has the best shot at getting Sean Payton? And I am going to start clipping some of our predictions.
Chargers would be crazy, but that's not. I don't.
Staley
think so
hasn't been fired.
I think
Staley's going to get fired. Now Denver's
mine.
I could totally see Sean Payton going to Denver.
I don't think he wants Russ.
No, he doesn't. But could you
You
see a
can't get
scenario
off
where
him.
you sign and trade Russ for Brady?
I don't think so. If I'm the Bucks, I don't do that.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing that no one talks about is you have to trade to get Sean Payton. So what did the Broncos give up to get Sean?
Okay. The conversations have already been had with the GM and Sean Payton of the Saints. The GM of the Saints. So do you know actually what they're expecting?
I would imagine a mid-round pick.
It is a mid to late first round pick. That is the expectation here.
To be honest, it might be worth it if you're getting
you can get a good coach for 10 years. It's worth it.
Yeah, but you wouldn't do that for John Gruden, and a lot of people were willing to do that at the point. And I was on the record saying I wouldn't have done it for Gruden the first time or the second time, and it worked out, But I wouldn't have done it. But Sean Payton to me is a different. Sean Payton, honestly, I think he's up there with Bill Belichick.
Can I just say this? And then we don't see coaches get traded often, and I had to look it up just really quick just to make sure I had it right. Belichick, when he got hired by the Patriots gave a first-round pickup to the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
And that was before Belichick was established as, a legit head coach. I would argue he's better than a lot of people would have, like at that point, because he had gotten
already been in
playoffs.
Cleveland. He'd already been a defensive coordinator for the
and
Giants.
He'd been to the playoffs as a head coach. So, but Sean Payton is a Super Bowl champion as a head coach.
Right.
He definitely can meet that value.
Well, let's do this since we're already on the topic, and I don't see a lot of people talking about this. I want to mention some things that I think are cemented this season that we didn't talk about on the recap show or the season-long recap show because we focused so much on the players. Some of my coaching takeaways. Peterson's the real deal. He should be considered I think he's better than Sean McVay. Sean McVay is like the sexy model that you see in the commercials, the advertisement, pretty boy. But I think Peterson's proven he is like legit, one with the Eagles, and now he's got the Jags turned around. I would trade for Peterson. Like that would be another name. Obviously, it won't happen.
I like Peterson as a coach, but I do have something that worries me, and it showed up just last week. He did it with Carson Wentz, where he wouldn't stop throwing and kept letting Carson turn the ball over.
Don't you want that, Danny? You want a coach that's like
is confident? Yes, but you can't just negate your run game completely.
You can if that's your style.
Like they had to this past game because it was so bad. But if you never let it get to 4 interceptions in the first place,
do you say the same thing about Bill Belichick and his run-heavy scheme?
I'm more opt to be fine with a run-heavy scheme.
I know. I'm saying, are you biased?
I am much in favor of the Patriots turning into a more pass-friendly offense.
Okay, now here's something for you, Donnie, because I don't think you realize this. And you watch the game, you wouldn't realize it. But you realize that they didn't actually run less in the second half after the 4 interceptions.
Well,
if anything, they stayed running the ball half the time.
Yeah.
They didn't throw more. Like, it's not like second half, 4 interceptions. Okay, we got to get back into this. Now you need to throw it a bunch. No, they actually stuck to the game plan that was the first half, which was we're going to run the ball and try to control and take our shots.
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happened he got picked off 4 times in the first half. But actually, they didn't do anything different. They didn't not forget to run the ball. If anything, that was the whole weirdness was why are they down 4 scores and they're still giving ETN like 10, 12 carries in the second half?
That last drive, they took a lot of time off that clock with passing, but they were not running it very much until that the last 2 plays. That really sealed the game. The 4th and 1, obviously they ran it. And then I think the third down before they ran it, or no, it was the second down they ran it. But on 3rd and 1, that play call I think was terrible. Why pass it on 3rd and 1 when you're right on the fringe of field goal range? You trusted your running back all season long. I don't know why they didn't trust him there, but they gave it to him on the 4th down. They got it. It worked out.
Well, the same reason that they got on the 4th down is the same reason he went for it there, though. Like, Peterson's known for his weird formations and his ballsiness. I don't know how else to say it. The guy is brazen. He will take chances, and that's his style, and that's what I like about him. Like, I don't agree with Dan Campbell's every one of his 4th down decisions or Staley's 4th down decisions.
Okay.
Always.
Can we stop there for a second?
Yeah.
There's a difference between Dan Campbell and Peterson being aggressive 4th down decisions, and Brandon Staley I feel like he's more of just, I'm going to go for it because that's what I'm told by the statistics.
Maybe.
I think it's a very different mindset, and that's why the Lions and the Jaguars are praised for a situation like that, and the Chargers, we see them get, in a sense, degraded for it.
Well, I'm glad we brought this up because I wanted to bring up coaching in a unique way, and I wanted to kind of do it in the bridge way where it's like we bring up the popular name Sean Payton, but then we talk about some of these people that have done a really good job that's not getting enough credit, like the Pete Carroll stuff. I'm sorry, that guy's so underrated as a head coach. I'll mention a general manager that I think is underrated. Thomas Dimitrov should get hired again, I think, as a general manager. And then Brad Holmes for the Lions. I know I seem like a homer, so I'll even just go back to the Rams days. Honestly, I don't think there's a better modern general manager when it comes to drafting. The guy has not missed. I don't think he's batting like 85% success rate, and we're talking like top of the draft, bottom of the draft. It doesn't matter. Like, some of these guys deserve more credit than they.
Well, there was actually a big coaching hire today. I don't know if you guys saw it.
What's that?
Jim Schwartz to the Browns as a DC.
I'm happy for Jim. I think he deserved another chance.
I think that's a very impressive hire this early in the offseason.
Yeah.
That could be a game changer for a defense with a lot of talent.
Go. Any other underrated NFL stories you want to hit on? I don't think so. I think that silence is good enough to say Jiminy Crickets. We've about had our fill tonight. Donnie, any last words?
That's gonna be it for me news-wise. No, I'm really a huge fan on this Jim Schwartz hire, though. I think that's something we need to pay attention a lot.
Oh, yeah, we're going to do tons of more in off-season content. I have some ideas where we can do some long-form, kind of like journalistic storylines coming up. I think we can do some deeper dives, but let's keep this under an hour. I saw that Guff had to go quiet, so he might not be able to give us his trademark good night, guys, but we'll see if me and Donnie can fill the void and at least give our best imitation. I will say, and Gov might go back and listen. It's wonderful to have him back. I'm glad he's doing well now because it's just not the same without him. So happy to have the whole crew back together. Good night, guys.
Good night, everybody.